Ondas de Biodanza.
Ondas de Biodanza.
Onde di Biodanza.
Onde de Biodanza.
Waves of Biodanza.
Biodanza Wellen.
Chimbalaie, quando vejo o sol beija no mar.
Hello and welcome to the second part of this interview when Marcus Stueck is explaining us why scientific research is so important for biodanza these days. Like how the IBFED is working now. I mean, you are part of a commission. How then the IBFED is involved in all these scientific projects?
Well, I think that the Assemblea, the Methodological Commission, and the Council, these three institutions are very, very important. Okay, at the moment, there's a communication between the Council and the Assemblea because it's a political level. Okay, but the Methodological Commission, some sub-commissions, for instance, Biodanza and Music, Biodanza and Extensions, school material, of course, it's also political, okay? But the scientific sub-commission cannot be political. It has to be independent because maybe it is based on studies. It's a possibility also to reflect critically about, as I mentioned about, for instance, when these limits of biodanza are not considered, okay? And people think that biodanza is a system of inclusion, also in a methodological level. But we have to have clear that in the human level, biodanza is a system of inclusion, there's no question. But in the methodological level, biodanza is not a system of inclusion, it's a system of integration, because there are certain limits which we cannot where we cannot integrate certain things, as I has described before. And this subcommission of biodanza and investigation at the moment, we're developing it, that we develop protocols about scientific projects, what are criteria, what the people has to have for criteria if they want to do a biodanza project, a scientific project, because they need qualifications, they need experience in studies, they need experience in publication. And also, if you want to found a center, yes, of a research center, I mean, this is more demands than a project. So, and one thing is very clear: this has to be independent from the political level. It's very, very important, because the conflict of interest, and it's like, I'm coming from Germany, okay? So I have a sausage company, okay? And within the sausage company, there's a research department which investigate the quality of the sausages, okay? So you can imagine the results, because they want to promote the product, okay? But this is not how science functions. Science is functioned by a critical reflection. We need to be able to reflect critically based on data, what is function, what is not function in a model. For instance, what Rolando was very painful for him to understand is the theory of instincts. When I gave my second PhD in the University of Leipzig, I had to, they refused it, because they said you need a critical reflection about, for instance, the theory of instincts in biodanza, because there is no evidence about the model of Rolando Toro. We cannot see the evidence, okay? So it was a very painful process for me to criticize or to do a critical reflection about a method which I love, and we love biodanza. So I told Rolando this, and he got very, very furious. He said, it's impossible, it cannot be that they cannot, it's obvious that it's like this. But I said, Rolando, but there is no evidence for the theory of instincts related to biodanza. Show me a study, show me a published study. So he understood perfectly what we have to do. And this is a work which is really detailed work, and we need the support of everyone in this, okay? So, well, in the last Assemblea, we got 6,000 euro with 88% of vote yes, and we were very happy, because this symbol said that the community is willing to support research of an independent research institute. this was a milestone. Yes, even it's only 6,000 euro, which cannot cover the research, because in this research in Holland, for instance, we have to analyze physiological data of people who are dancing together and so on. But it's a symbol which is very important for Biodanza to invest and to rise the whole system on another level of consciousness. And the critic reflection based on data brings a completely different argumentation and quality of the theory of Biodanza, and also of the evidence of the theoretical model, and also of the evidence of a biocentric scientific model. Yes. Sorry for talking so long, but this is complex. It's very complex.
It is a complex topic. It is. Yeah, and time flies. Time flies.
Yes.
But before we stop, we finish this interview. I don't know if there is any last message or last words that you want to mention before we finish. Marcus, you're very welcome. And I'm wondering if there are more people, obviously, more colleagues working on this, because this is such a big project. Obviously, and there is so much work to be done. Is there any other scientific team, colleagues that you are working with you on this at this moment, or maybe in the future? What are your provisions for future about this?
Ladies, thank you for asking this question, because we work like in a meshing room of Biodanza. We work underground. It's like nobody knows really what we are doing. I always call it, when you have a ship, you work like in the under the ship where the big engine is. So nobody see you really. Only when I do a presentation, you can see it, but it's very short. Yes. So what we have created is a bionet. Yeah, we have created a bionet where we do memorandum of understandings and agreements with different universities. Like in the last 2 or 3 years, we have done with 4 or 5 universities. Everybody is welcome to be part of Bionet. For instance, one part of Bionet is also Giovanna Benatti with the Forum in Italy, who is doing a very, very good work with clinical biodanza, and which is a field of studies, of course. And there are also working scientists from other disciplines and biodanza teachers who help to collect data, for instance. Yes, for instance, we had a project in Prague, we had a project in Portugal, we had a project now in Holland, so there was a whole team of biodanza teachers under supervision who was able to collect the data, and maybe also to help in the putting the data in certain databases. Yes. So what we created in Bionet is a database, first of the articles in biocentric research, and also in biodanza research, also the PhDs. And the second thing is that we were in this research where we work with other colleagues. Just a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here. Okay. So we are working with other colleagues together, which have their expertise. For instance, there's a physiologist, there's an immunologist, a professor for immunology from the University of Leipzig, a physiologist from Berlin, and there is another social scientist, which have nothing to do with biodanza. They just know their field. Okay, in social science. We have a biodanza teacher from Holland, Lieven Clement, who is a professor for data management and for huge data management, because we have huge data to manage. And so the outcome of this Bionet work and the model project, the International Biocentric Research Academy, where all the scientists are working and want to show how this can function and how this can produce publications, are working in different projects. For instance, we could prove in the first pilot study the reparentalization in Gran Canaria in a project where we founded Biodanza Aquatica Research Center, and where we also work with psychoneuroimmunology, where we study the hormones, for instance, and the immune system. The same design in an experimental control group design we used also in psychoneuroimmunological studies in Prague, Portugal, and Holland, for instance. And here you see also the necessary quality that we need the biodanza teacher in this project, for instance, to organize a control group. Most of the studies in biodanza lacks a control group. There are studies done in South America and so on, but if you look at the studies in the scientific monographies, for instance, there's no control group. If you have no control group, you cannot answer the question of the specific effect of biodanza, for instance. So you see that we cooperate with biodanza teachers who know the field, and we cooperate with external scientists who know exactly what they are doing. And of course, the studies has to be supervised. And because of the experience, at the moment, I supervise the studies, but together with all the scientists, because they know what they are doing. And let me say, Lenny, one last thing, for instance, about oxytocin. We did the first study in Latvia in the psychiatry many years ago, I think 5 years ago. Yeah. And we found no effect in patients increasing oxytocin before and after biodanza.
All right.
I mean, they had a much lower oxytocin level than the control group, of course, the normal people, yes.
Yeah.
There was a slightly increase of oxytocin because of the touch and of all these things, but we couldn't find a significant effect. Okay, so only to show you how long-term this research is and how you have to keep going. So we repeat now this experiment in Holland, where we took the double of saliva. Okay, we took 2 tubes of saliva because you need a lot of saliva. We try to detect the oxytocin from the saliva, and now we try to find this effect. Okay, we don't know. So science is full of surprises. So the theory of biodanza is very clear. Yes, there is an effect in serotonin. There is an effect in dopamine of the dancers. There's an effect on adrenaline, noradrenaline, and so on of the dancers. But it's not so easy to detect it. Like, for instance, every hormone has a certain rhythm. Okay, so if you measure an effect of a dance, for instance, in the hormone, maybe the effect is half hour later in cortisol, for instance. Okay, or in adrenaline is maybe 7 minutes later. So it's very difficult to analyze the effect of this, and you need a lot of trials and the science to do that. It's a very detailed work, and we need to be critical what is in the school materials about the hormonal effects of dance, because they are not published. These effects, they are not researched really. These are hypotheses of Rolando, which are maybe very, very, very important and very good, but they have to be studied and published and be transparent in their methodology. Okay, so I think this is a parallel undergoing work, and the researchers needs the support. And I'm always happy in Spain that you give me the place, and you told me already in next year that you give me a place to speak about the empiric science, and this already helps if the people are listening and they get an understanding for it, like in this talk now, and this situation cannot happen again, that we are excluded out of the didacta training. It will not happen again, because the biodanza world needs this knowledge. It's impossible that a scientific-based method has not this knowledge. Let me tell the last example of body movement, dance, and therapy. Okay, this is a very, let me say, structured therapy method. Has nothing to do with biodanza, but they have a strong scientific base. That's why in England, for instance, they are more known than biodanza. It's very difficult for biodanza in England to develop, but body movement and therapy has around 600 studies, has maybe 6 or 7 meta-analyses, okay, which is a conclusion of the studies, and so on. For the biocentric questions, we need a completely different methodology to study. We cannot study it as a classical scientific methodology. So Biodanza has the potential to develop new ways of researching, but we need to work on it, and we need the conscience from the whole community, because we cannot continue teaching things which are pseudoscientific. We have to have this conscious about, and that's why I'm very glad that you brought the subject up. There are web pages, there are publications. So read the publications, Limits of Biodanza, and also explore the unknown, from the experience to the evidence. This first book gives you maybe a little bit more insight. Thank you for the Spanish colleagues. I think you do a great work in Spain. Also, there are a lot of scientific articles, and I think you are on a good way. I'm always happy to come to you. Thank you very much, Lane.
Thank you so much, Marcus. It looks like there is a long road to go. So thank you so much for your time for this interview. We wish you all the best for the future, hoping effectively that your works gives Biodanza this scientific basis that it needs. And thank you so much for all the listeners who are there. Please remember to subscribe. Check out other episodes of Waves of Biodanza. You can follow us on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and leave a like if you like it. We have our website, biodanza.org. And obviously, as we said before, on YouTube, we have IV-Fed Biodanza Reels for this episode and for more. So thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much, Marcus, for your time. All the best.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Ondas de Biodanza.
Ondas de Biodanza.
Onde di Biodanza.
Ondas de Biodanza.
Waves of Biodanza.
Biodanza Wellen.